And welcome back to the Recruit Pursuit podcast. This is my first solo episode. I haven't really been able to have time to really sit down and just kind of talk to the camera a little bit about, I don't know, what I'm thinking and, what I got planned and everything like that. Just been so busy with work and etc. But the interviews are coming back. I have a handful of players who are interested in coming on and some college athletes, some Washington State high school athletes, boys basketball, football, girls basketball as well. And I'm just really hoping to sort of get this started more frequently and just really cover the high school scene for sports in general, specifically for boys basketball, girls basketball, and football. Um, I do have, like I mentioned, some awesome interview guests coming. I think that people will be excited to see it. I think I have some ideas as well for later in the summer with some other fellow Prep Hoops writer and Ryan Morgan. I think good old Ryan will hop out in here and we'll talk about some players who are excited to watch for next year and sort of, break down maybe the teams by class, because there's been a lot of movement within transferring and etc. I guess first I just wanted to break down really just what I've been doing and who I've seen over the last couple of weeks during the summer. I've been coaching AAU for Team 360. We've been traveling a lot. Went to California, Seattle a couple times, heading to Arizona next week, Oregon earlier in the month or early in the summer, sorry, excuse me. I really do think I've seen a lot of great players. On the boys side, there's been a lot of standouts. One guy who really comes to mind right away is James Morgan of Black Hills, 2027 guard. He has been playing the 17U scene for Ole Academy, and man, he has been dominating. He looks big, he's strong, he's hitting his shots, and he's really the leader of that team is alongside Dominic Harper, dominated for Ole Academy, and they have a great shooter as well. His name is not on the top of my head right now, but they're a solid team. They've watched them play quite a bit over the summer. Another guy who's really standing out to me, mostly on like the high school scene, for the last couple of weeks during the month of June, is Dawson Heights of Lincoln Christian. Man, Dawson has been his athleticism has just grown through the roof, and he's throwing down windmills between the legs, and he's 6'3" of him, and he's very, very, very fun to watch. I think he's going to step into a big role for Lincoln Christian, especially with them losing some key players and Jeremiah Wright, et cetera, et cetera. But, with Gannon Dykstra coming back and, with Dawson Heights taking such a big step, I think the Lynx will be right back in the 1A mix again. They've been looking really good. Some other guys I've seen locally up here for some summer league tournaments. Bremerton was up in town. I got to see Jalen Davis, 2027 guard. He is a top player in the entire state. I can stand on that. And he so smooth with the ball, plays so casually, so laid back, but yet he's a dog. He's got it all in him. He's exciting to watch. He really is. He led that team all the way past Lennon Christian at the Green and Gold Summer Invite up in Linden High School. He led them past Lennon Christian in the semifinal game, played Grandview in the championship, and just took care of them. Jalen played extraordinary all weekend long. He was really fun to watch. Well, with Jacob Fife, 2025 guard, he's been really taking the right shots. His shot selection has been getting a lot better since the end of last season. He did have a high volume of shots last year, but he settled it down and picking and choosing his right spots, and he's hitting those shots too, which is very important too. The defense is, I've been really focusing on Talon Jenkins, which 6'6" wing, 2025 grad as well. Makes sense. He's got some Division I interest, I believe. If he doesn't, he definitely should. Um, but he's a stud player and he's grown a lot as well into his game. He's a smooth 3-point shooter who finds the spots in the mid range nicely too. Another guy who's been really standing out to me is Marysville Getchell guard Aaron Palakal. I think is how you say it. I might be saying it wrong. I'm sorry, Bubba, if you're watching. I appreciate you always, you know that. But Bubba's been playing for Idaho Select during the summer, and man, he has been killing it for them, killing it. He's a lights out shooter. He's thinking five, six, seven threes a game sometimes. I mean, he is fun to watch. Little guard. He needs some Division II interest, if you ask me. He definitely could play at that level, just because his handles are quick and he's tough, tough nose, tough, gritty guard. Um, he really knows how to get downhill too with his left hand and his right hand, finds his teammates nicely. He's going to have a really big role with Sean Eldridge graduating last year and going off to, I believe, Bellevue and somewhere in the NWAC. I know that. Speaking of the NWAC episode will be coming soon. I'm going to break down returning players from last year, break down the top teams, some incoming guys for each team, and just really go through it. That one I'm really taking my time with and sort of planning out a little bit. I really didn't plan out much for this episode here. I figured I'd just keep it a quick one and just sort of go through just a handful of players and sort of just get a video out and just talking about guys. But yeah, the NWAC content will be coming. I'll be talking about all my guys who are coming back in the league, all the guys who are joining the league, out of state guys who are coming in, and everything like that. Um, but yeah, that is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But I guess right now let's just shift into like talking about the 2025 class in the state of Washington for boys first. The rankings have been released on Prep Hoops, and one guy who's really, really making a case for the number one overall spot is Jalen Petty. Jalen Petty has been just absurd, absurd, absurd. That's all I can say. He has been a monster all summer, dominating on both ends of the court, dropping 30, 40, throwing down windmills. He's taking his talents to Rainier Beach next year to play alongside the number one player in the class, Caden Powers. They're going to be a deadly, deadly duo, 100%. Beckett Curry is the number 3 guy in that class. Beckett is one of the best shooters in the entire state. I do believe that, and I always will believe that. Beckett is quick, lightning quick release, moves well with the ball, moves well without the ball, able to find his open spots. He's a guy who really, really is going to do big things next year, I think, especially for Camas and be able to lead them deep into the state playoffs. He's a guy who can carry the team on his back, do big things. He'll be headed to, let me see if I got this. I think I got it written down right here. Yeah, he's just committed to Lafayette College. So congratulations, Beckett. Lafayette out in Pennsylvania, I believe. He'll fit out really nicely, really nicely. So Beckett will be going out there for his senior year, actually. He just committed to sorry, he just committed to Lafayette, but for Camas next year. I'm gonna cut this out. Number 3 player in the class, Beckett Curry. Beckett Curry just recently announced actually he's going to the Phelps School. So he will not be playing for Camas next year, but he will be making his way to Lafayette College next year, where he just committed. Sucks to see a player like Beckett leave the state because he is extremely talented and he can really shoot the ball. He's a lights out guy. He knows how to handle the ball. He knows how to play off ball. He can do either one, and he'll be a Division I player, obviously, but really didn't think that he'd be, headed out fully for his senior year. Thought he'd run it back one more time with Camas. Sucks to see that, but Beckett, congratulations. And I know you're going to do big things out there and at Lafayette College next year or 2 years from now. And top 5 as well is Martin Cowpinger. Martin Cowpinger, man, this man has been killing it for Renegades all summer. He's a 6'7", 6'6" forward who is grown a lot of upper body. He's very strong, physical. He's a talented player, talented player. He will be one of the best players in the state next year, in the entire state. And I think he can lead Annie Wright deep, deep into that 1A playoffs, especially with, some other key teams like Lennon Christian and losing some big guys. Not he's going to be hard to match up against, and teams are going to really have to game plan for him specifically. But if the game plan too hard, Annie Wright's got guys, so you cannot overcommit to him, or else you will leave someone open who you regret. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Well, I'll say it first. We'll get into that first. Jeremiah Harshman is who I'm talking about. He's the 15th, 16th ranked player in the class. He is a guy who will have the ball in his hands, play off Martin really well, and still get his points with his 10 assists and play both sides of the ball at an elite level. Annie Wright is, in my eyes, right now, the early favorite to win the 1A class. I haven't done a big, big breakdown yet, but we'll get into that soon, probably in a couple weeks here. Another player in the top 10 who I think is really going to have a big year is Leighton Martin of Arlington. They just hired a brand new coach, Drew Bryson. Congratulations to Drew. I coached with him at Team 360. He coaches the 16U team. He is a smart, smart man. Man, he is awesome. I think he's going to excel in that role. He graduated from Arlington, played at um he played up in Canada at Simon Fraser, went to Northwest University for a year, and he's a lefty sharpshooting guard who just really knows the game. Really knows the game. I think that Drew having Leighton as his top guy will help because they're very similar, but Leighton in my eyes, sorry, Drew, a little bit better. Leighton is a Division 1 guy on the football field. He is also could be a Division 1 guy. He is a two-sport athlete who stands out in every single way possible, and he's fun to watch. He can really shoot that thing. He's gonna have a big year for Arlington. Let's wrap up the 2025 class real quick because I just already talked about Talon and Jagger and some other guys, but Niall Robinson has been really killing it for Renegades as well. He'll be attending Rainier Beach again next year with alongside those other guys, making an insane trio backcourt. But um, I think Niall is going to have a great year. He's been improving a lot, shooting the ball really well. Handles have been getting a lot tighter, a lot stronger. Um, he's a big time player. 2025 class. Who else can I think of? Just real quickly off the top of my head, see if I got a little list. No, not necessarily. We're gonna get into it more and more. I think I might do a whole video where I break down each class and etc. for each boys and girls. But now let's see what we can get into for the girls side. The 2025, the rankings have been released as well. These ones are ones that I worked hard on as well. It was hard to deal, with putting what players where because each class is very talented, especially within this 2025 girls classes. They're all similar in the top 5, 10, like you can make a case for any of the players going up or down. Right now it's Bryn McCoffey, who is the #1 player, also headed to UW. Malia Rudd is #2. She's a fantastic post player who's been killing it. She's even played for some FIBA last year, I believe, at an international level, and she really has elevated her game in a big way. She's a patient down low. She finishes around the rim nicely with a soft touch. Great defense as well. Rounding up the top 3, we got Grace Heinz from Lenny Christian up here. Grace recovering from an injury. I she she's looked good. I've seen her play one time during the summer. She looked really good. I did hear that she got hurt again, unfortunately. So I believe she has a knee injury with the other knee. Not sure how severe, anything like that, but hoping for a quick recovery for Grace and hoping she's back on the court ASAP. Excuse me there. Another player who jumped up really far for us was Brina Punkis. Brina is really been dominating for Greyhounds with Olivia Edwards all summer long, but she's an elite prep grad 2025 guard who is going to get a ton of Division 1 looks. She already has garnered a lot of attention over the last couple of months during the AAU scene, and it's only going to get more and more and more attention going to her. She is a very, very talented player. Kiera Thompson from Camus is also in that top five. Can't forget to shout out Kiara Curtis. Sarah Lessing from Garfield, three-time state champion. Will she make it four? We will see. Garfield has won three in a row. Sarah is now without Katie Fisco, who will be headed to Oregon. But I think Sarah is ready to take on a bigger role on the offensive side. Plus, there's so much talent all the way around that Garfield team anyway that I think she'll be just fine. Maybe she'll be go 4 for 4 on rings. Who knows? We'll get into that later as well. But Leah Hansen drops out that top 10. Um, some other people outside the top 10 who I really want to mention that 2025 class, Ava Marr, Archbishop Murphy guard. She's very talented. She plays alongside Brooke Blackley, who is very, very similar to her, but a little bit taller. Um, both of them can play on ball, off ball. They can play, they can guard 1 through 4. They're very, very impressive players. Another player I wanted to mention, Portia Polo. Portia has been really, really fun to watch over the last couple of years. I've been writing for Prep Hoops plus Prep Hoops and Prep Girls Hoops for almost 3 years now. So I've almost watched Portia's own whole career, whole high school career, and she has elevated her game in a big, big way. It's been really fun to watch. She's really coming into her own, playing that point guard position. And last year she had Megan Roberts alongside her, but she will be transferring to Eastlake, I believe. Um, so Portia will be on her own as far as handling the ball, which I think she will do a great job with, and she'll have her teammates involved still. She's been playing in the U20 FIBA America Cup in Canada for Dominican Republic. She's been playing awesome. I've watched a couple of her games live, actually. Shout out to you, Portia. I don't even think I've told you that, but you've played really awesome. Just quickly wrap up the 2025 class. I think Grace Renders from Seattle Prep is going to have a great season. She's really going to stand out. Some other couple names just real quickly for this 2025 class. We're going to get into it more, like I said, just to really break it down. I just really, like I said, I want to get out something quick, something short, something to really start talking about stuff. So let's go to the 2026 class. And we'll start with the girls too. Again, of course, it's Olivia Edwards. She has 30 plus Division 1 offers. I know she's limited it down already to, I believe, her top five, maybe 10, something like that. But she had every offer in the book. Dawn Staley from South Carolina is wanted her, UW, any top program you could think, they want Olivia Edwards. She's a 6'4" wing post who handles it smoothly, shoots the mid range at a very elite level, plays fantastic defense, and is the number 3 overall player ranked by ESPN in the entire 2025 class. So there's a reason why she's number 1. As for number 2 is Brooklyn Haywood. As for the number 2, it's Brooklyn Haywood. Brooklyn's very impressive. She is one of the best guards in the entire state, regardless of class. She handles the ball at an elite level. She shoots the ball better than anyone in the entire state. I said it, anyone in the entire state. She can shoot better than a lot of the men, a lot of the boys players as well. I'm gonna be honest. She is elite. She has a sidestep that is just extremely unguardable. Her handles are so tight, so quick. Her first step is fantastic. She is fun to watch. She will be also a Division 1 player who every coach in the country is going to want her. She is a very talented player. Also in the top five, I got Ashley Isatalo from Lake Washington. She is the Lake Washington team. We'll have to do a video on as well or include them because they are stacked. That Lake Washington team is good. I don't know if anyone can beat them in the entire state, regardless of class. I think that they will win the 3A state championship. I'll say it right now. Ashley's a big reason why, but they just have so many more players too, and we'll get into that too soon. But they're an impressive team. We'll keep going here in the top 10. Number 6, we got Shayla Cordes. Shayla is a guard who can handle the ball really well, shoot the ball at an extremely elite level, but also just knows the game. She plays elite defense, which I think she's the type of player who knows defensive wins games and really play good defense. It's going to lead to easy buckets on the offensive side. That's exactly what happens for her. She sets up her teammates nicely. Vision is fantastic. Her younger sister is also going to come on the scene this year. I think she's going to have a great, great, great season. Some other players in the 2026 class I want to mention is Peyton Mills up here from Linden High School. Her freshman year, Peyton was great. She dominated. Her sophomore year, even better. She shot the three phenomenally as well, even though she is a 6'2" post player who can do, and she scores from all three levels. She can do anything on the court. You leave her open on the outside, she will sink the three. I think over 40% last year from the 3-point range. Um, Finley Parcher, I will get into talking about her soon, but she's another girl on the Lennon High School team, which is who was a freshman last year's class 2027. They are the reason why, Lennon is back and won the state championship last year, the first time since 2020, with Coach Adams back, of course. But they're a very talented team. Let's see, the 2026 class is just really talented all the way around. Just shout out a couple quick ones real fast. Ariana Donnelly, Emma Bryant, Hayden Kaut, Julia Fox, Nessa Core, Kessa Core, sorry. Some other ones. Marin King is really talented. Star Smiley, AC Chavez, Ella Fritz for Lenny Christian is phenomenal as well. She's a big reason why the links are so talented and so good. That really wraps up the 2026 class for now. Like I said, we're gonna get into more in-depth looks at these players in the classes as we go on, but um, also want to just apologize for any pronunciation problems. I'm not very good at that. I might be completely wrong. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about, but I will get better at pronouncing them. I promise you. So for that 2026 boys class, swap back over real fast. Um, Lattimore Ford, I got to watch live up here at Linden High School for the Green and Gold summer invite, and Lattimore is he's a big guy. He throws down monster dunks. He rips by defenders from the wing. He's patient on the inside, has great footwork down low, runs the court in transition really well. He does it all, but he had an off day during the semifinals or quarterfinals, I think it was at the Atlanta High School Green and Gold summer invite a couple weeks ago when they faced up against Lennon Christian and Dawson Heights. We were just talking about 2027 class. Talk about him soon again. They had him guard him, and Dawson did phenomenal, a lot better than I thought he would. He should be very proud of that performance. He held his own on defense, and he even sank his threes 3-4 feet back, and he kept his rhythm all game. And it was awesome. But Lat Ford is easily the best player in 2026 class. So gifted naturally, just athletic and knows the game so well, and just so casual with it too. It's very fun to watch. Ethan Harris is also in that top five. He's gonna have a huge role for Camus now that Becca Curry's headed out, and Jace Van Boris as well, who's a 2025 guard. They're gonna be leading the charge. And I think Ethan's really gonna be able to still lead Camus deep into the playoffs without a guard, without the main guard in Beckett. Jace and Ethan are a great duo, and the Camus team will do great things still. Ismail Gallo, I've seen Ismail play a couple times for Seattle Select over the summer, and he is a baller. He is a baller. He's getting a little bit taller, it seems like, more lanky. Runs the court well, handles the ball really well, and just knows how to match up well against a big or a guard and holds his own against the big too, even though it doesn't look like it. He looks a little bit skinny, but hey, Ismail is strong. I promise you, Ismail is strong. All right, he's gonna have a big year for Nathan Hale. I'm excited to see him. Let's see. Let's talk about Decker Van de Graaf. If you guys don't know him, you should. Zilla was, I believe, one loss last year and only in the state championship game. And Decker is a big reason why his freshman year last year was impressive. One of the best freshman years by anyone. 6'5" wing, only going to get better and better and better and better. He's playing for Meta Hoops this summer. He is a guy who could easily jump up in the top 5 in the rankings, definitely, especially if he has a big year next year, which I think he will. If he keeps developing and just making his game more completely smoother, more well-rounded in a way. I think that Decker could be a big time prospect in the entire country. Um, Jackson Whitaker, I want to talk about him a little bit from Liberty. A couple years ago, shout out Peyton Nordland. He came on for a little interview a couple years ago, and we were talking about the next guy up for Liberty then, which was I believe Ryan Gallagher. And Ryan went on to go do big things for Liberty, and he was telling me, oh, this young guy named Jackson who's going to come up, and he's going to be one of the best shooters in the state. You wait. And I was like, all right, Peyton, yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see it, but it's hard to really agree when they're so young, and they don't have that experience. But Jackson has that experience now, and man, he's been killing it, leading the Liberty to victories and shooting the three, averaging over 20 points a game almost all summer. Jackson is a guy who Division One coaches need to start taking a look at. He will make a big impact too. Let's see. One more guy I wanted to mention from Sammamish High School. Shout out Sammamish High School real fast. Coach Easy Garcia. Man, you I'm gonna have Coach Easy on, I think. I'm gonna ask him. I'm sure he'll come on. He's my guy. Um, he's gonna he's gonna lead Sammamish and do great things. Easy's up here from Texas, came up here, moved up here, and he brought that dog energy. He is that kind of guy who's just he'll rally up his guys and they'll all follow right behind him. He's the leader there and they all follow suit. It is fantastic. And as a whole, Sammamish is just so well rounded and they got some height. And we want to talk about Rakin Shauki. Um, Rakin is a 6 foot guard, combo guard, who looks like he's grown a little bit, but his game has grown a lot. A lot. Easy. Shout out to you. I know you're in the gym with him and Barry and all those guys. And man, Sammamish is a team to watch. Sammamish is a team to watch. I can't wait to talk to Coach Garcia soon. I'm actually going to text him right after this and see if he'll get on an interview. And we'll plan that one out soon too. One more guy in the 2026 class is Jaden Gohorshi. Jaden, Mount Spokane, 6'7", built like an ideal Division One prospect, and he has the workhorse for it. Man, he has the workhorse for it. He puts in time, reps, anything you could think of. He lifts weights consistently, everything in the morning, at night. I could tell he lives on a consistent routine, and he always gets his things done, which is why you've seen his game develop so much if you've been following him closely, which I have been. And he is fun to watch. I think Jaden's gonna have a phenomenal year next year. Phenomenal year. Let's just jump into 2027 boys rankings real quick. Now this one, number one player was fairly easy in Jimmy Haywood. Jimmy is just so well rounded for his age. He does not play like a freshman last year, incoming sophomore. Not at all. He is sort of like what I was mentioning with Jalen Davis from Bremerton earlier. But Jimmy is, I believe, 6'4", 5, and just well rounded. He went to Bellevue last year, but he'll be taking his talents to Garfield. Garfield's going to be a very talented team too. We'll get into that later. Achilles Reina is second. He goes Eastside Catholic. Sorry. Um, he is a guy who is a workhorse. A workhorse. He shoots the ball at a very high rate, and he'll give you 15 and 10 easily. I promise. Every night he will average at least maybe 18 and 12. He could. He's a guy who will get you a double double. He'll get you blocks on the other side. He will do anything. He's a workhorse. I like his game a lot. Another guy's in the top 10. We got Jack Thompson from Shorecrest. He's 6'9". He's a guy who finishes around the rim well, sets good screens, rolls hard, but it's just physical. Just physical. No one can out rebound him. He uses that body. He goes up for the boards. He's aggressive on the glass. I really like him. Like I mentioned, Dawson Hines, he's up there in the top 12. Edson Kahn is another one I wanted to talk about real fast. He's going to Glacier Peak. He's been also hooping with Easy Garcia a little bit for Sammamish Elite in their AAU program just a couple weekends ago. But Edson plays for FOH normally, and he is a guard who finds his mid-range spots and he shoots at a lights out, lights out, lights out level. He is just an smooth when he finds his spots, he gets there, and he's gonna knock it down. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. He plays tight defense. Hands are always out. Feet move phenomenally. Does not let the opposing guy get back. He does a great job at hedging, screens, and he does it all. He's just a high basketball player, high basketball IQ player. Brian Stevenson is another guy I wanted to mention from Olympia. He is a big man who can shoot the ball well, just a high motor. Kel Reardon from Mount Baker. Shout out to you, Kel. I've been watching a lot over the summer locally. He might be the strongest player in the whole Northwest Conference up here. He is. He's a big guy who's going to be tough to guard. And if you don't have a matchup against him, he will dominate you for 20 and 15. Um, like I mentioned, James Morgan earlier in that 2027 class is talented. It's really talented. Let's move over to the girl side though. The girl side, the 2027 class is insanely talented in my eyes. When we're just doing the rankings for the girls, and it's the first time for the 2027 class that's been released at all, so it was difficult to really choose like you're the best player. No, you're the, like anyone in the top 10, I really do think could go up, could go down. At the top five, any of them could be number one. I really do believe that. As I mentioned earlier, with Lake Washington having a crazy team, they do have the number one player in that class, and Julia Benton. Julia is a smooth, shifty guard who knows how to lead her team. She knows how to lead a team. She finds her teammates, and she's just surrounded by so much talent. Finley Parcher is number two. I mentioned earlier. She's a 6'2" point guard who handles the ball, can guard all five positions, and really was a big spark for the Lions last year. Elia Cornwall is three for Gonzaga Prep. She's a little guard who is a dynamic scorer. She can score from all three levels, over 20, 25 a game. She is one of the more impressive scoring guards in the entire class. Kawhi Borden, she is for Sumner. She has been really playing well and really impressing me. She's 5'10", 11, smooth touch around the rim, established herself in the paint nicely, knocks down her mid range, and is aggressive. Plays great defense too. Round out the top five, AZ Jackson. AZ is unique. She's a 6'2", 3, and still growing, but she plays the point guard position. And just like Finley up in Linden, it's very hard to match up against. And I think at Bonnie Lake, AZ is going to dominate. She will has a lot of shooters around her and a lot of talented players in general, where I think she could average 10, 15 assists a game, 10, 12 easily. I think she's another double-double sort of player. And I would not be surprised if she drops a triple-double. I said it first. You heard it here first. Ashlyn Bryant is another great player in the 2027 class for Deer Park. Avery Brandt for AC Davis High School. She's one of the best shooters in the entire state. She really lets it fly, and she shoots it at a very high rate. Cheyenne Hole from AC Davis as well. She should be in the top 10, maybe. She's number 13, but she could easily sneak her way up there. Lainey Weaver, Herbie Wright. I think Herbie Wright doesn't get enough attention from Prosser. She really dominated as a freshman last year, and I think she could have a really big year this year for them as well. I think Bella Standish from Ellensburg, one of the best scoring guards in the whole state. Grace Ding from Inglemore is very impressive and very talented. At least Kingston has been coming on to the scene a lot in the high school season for Sagebrush, or the AAU scene for Sagebrush. And she's Sagebrush, sorry, excuse me, but she is very talented and she's well rounded. The 2027 class from 1 to 50 is just very good. And even some of the watch list players, I think, could really get in there and impress and do really great things. I think that I'm excited for the season next year. I think there's going to be a lot of great players and a lot of new faces to see. And there's names that we haven't even seen yet who will pop up, and just gotta stay focused on finding those players and keeping my eyes out for new talent, and always reevaluating and everything like that. I love the high school basketball scene here in the state of Washington for boys and girls. I have a passion for helping out all the athletes, as they all know, hopefully. And you need any recruiting advice, you guys know you can come to me, and I will answer you as soon as I can. I get a lot of DMs from players all over the country every day, so it's hard to keep up with it. But I do try to prioritize those from Washington specifically because, I have seen a lot of players within the state just not been able to see their full potential as for recruiting wise. I think that a lot of people need to know how to put yourself out there and connect with coaches and make connections in general. Any connections could really lead you to an offer. I tweet little things all the time. Follow me at Devin Record on Twitter/X. um, but if you really stay focused, you grind and you do your thing, coaches will find you. I promise you. They're always looking. They're everywhere. You guys go to these normal AAU tournaments where it doesn't say there's going to be college coaches and it's just, at a local high school in the Seattle area or whatever. There could be coaches there. I guarantee it. And I saw a coach at one of our games a couple weeks ago, and none of the players knew. None of our Team 360 players knew that there was even college coaches there. They're like, oh no, there's no coaches here. We're just it's 4 p.m. on a Sunday. There's no way. That's where they're wrong. They are there. They are always there. I promise you right now that the coaches are always watching and they will find you if they like you. I promise you. If there isn't a coach in the gym, there's someone in the gym who knows a coach. So that's what I'm saying. You always hold yourself to that high standard, play at an elite level, be a great teammate, do all the little things. Those A connection will happen, and the right person will find you. Um, so I very briefly just went over some things in this episode, nothing too crazy. I just wanted to shout out a few players who've been playing good, catching my eye over the summer. I'm going to do a lot more in-depth podcast about the NWAC for next year, like I said. And then also for the boys and girls basketball scene. I could do a football episode here soon. Been thinking about it, but we'll see. Definitely a boys basketball and girls basketball episode for the high school scene coming up. NWAC coming up. Follow the at Recruit Pursuit podcast on Twitter for daily or NWAC updates. When the season goes underway, I will be posting those, just retweeting who wins and who's having good games for the week, top performers, etc. I hope to get more coaches from the NWAC on the podcast as well to chat. Congrats to Coach Jansen, who I interviewed a few weeks back, who found a job at a 4-year school. So congratulations to you, Coach. Well deserved. Treasure Valley is still in a great spot. They're a talented team, and I'm excited to see them. But I'll just wrap up my little preview of a preview, I guess. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but just a little summer recap, I guess. Brief summer recap. Just talking about some high school guys and high school girls who are, standing out to me and who are gonna have big seasons next year, hopefully. But yeah, with that being said, just make sure you follow Recruit Pursuit Podcast on Twitter, at Devin Record on Twitter, and subscribe to the YouTube. And if you're an athlete out there in the state of Washington, let me know if you want to come on for an interview, and we'll get that figured out. I got a little bit of a list, like a schedule going on, but I'll make sure to add your name and we'll get it going. All right. Thanks everyone for listening.